Hello lovely people, once again we are back and we are doing a fun I hope look at the energy for June 2022. So choose one, choose two, or choose three columns, and then we're going to pull out several cards for each one of those. So I'll just give you a moment to choose one, choose two, choose three. Go with what jumps out at you first, and then we'll start the reading with what is pulled out for card number one, and that will govern your month or give you some indication to the month ahead for June 2022. Okay, here we are. Hopefully you can see them. Okay, let me just adjust the camera slightly. So these are the cards that I've pulled for June for under number one. So I wanted to do them separately this time so we can still bring in some of the other cards as appropriate to the other numbers rather than laying them all out at once. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, so we have three cards which I'm using the Pictorial Key Tarot and the Lenormand pack for this one, and then I'm going with the liquid crystal cards as an overall as well, and we have two overall cards. So in more detail, if we look at the tarot first of all, we've got the Fool. So if you've picked column one, then row one, then the Fool is it's kind of about a new journey, or it's a major arcana card. It's a very airy card, so it's about taking a risk. Don't worry about what other people think. You're very much in tune with yourself at the moment. We're setting off in a new journey, you know, full of self-belief, and it's a major sort of it's a major energy, major arcana card. So it can be very childlike. If you might be one of these people that's very childlike in your qualities as well. There's an innocence with that card, setting off with your backpack on your new journey there. So it is about bringing in that sense of self-belief and maybe embarking metaphorically in a new direction for you. It can be the Fool can also represent nervous energy as well, and undisciplined mental energy. Sometimes it can be a little bit unstable, but it's yeah, I always think of it as a positive card, the Fool, especially, you know, when you look at the other cards that are following it, then that gives you a kind of indication. And it's followed by the Three of Pentacles. I always like the Three of Pentacles. Threes tend to be about creativity, discovery, imagination. For me, it's a networking card, the Three of Pentacles. So we're followed by we're following that. We're off in this new direction, and it feels like we're networking a little bit more. For some reason, feels like we're meeting up with people. Obviously, Pentacles is about the physical, it's about the material, it's about the practical, and we're meeting up with people. We're being very pragmatic in what we're doing. Threes are also about creative growth. It's about success through using your skills. As you can see, he's got this paint palette there in front of him. He's liaising with others. He's looks like he's painting some ecclesiastical thing, but it's really talking about this new journey here, or this new approach, or this new sort of self-belief that you have is backed up by time and effort that's put into it. So it's like it's increased the value. It's increased the person's value in the marketplace. There's a confidence that follows that. There's a confidence coming in with self-belief, and it suggests that all the effort will be rewarded that you're putting in. So what if you are thinking about embarking on this new journey, and you're kind of having that trust and confidence that you are going in the right direction, you will get the rewards for it. If you're doing something around the home, it can also be about improvements in the home. It can be about decoration, or that kind of thing as well. But it's a good earthy card, and it's sort of, because it's pentacles, it's about material gain as well. So it all feels like it's going to pay off. And then you get to the 9 of Wands, and 9 of Wands for me, it's always feels like, when I look at that picture, always feels like, oh, I've survived the 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands are, you know, quite often obstacles and barriers, and I've survived it, and I feel a little bit vulnerable, but it's okay, I've come through it. And that's what it always feels like to me when I see the 9 of Wands. It's a progression card, it's advancement, it's milestones again. So again, we're following in the same vein as the Fool and the 3 of Pentacles. We are, it may be that we're feeling, oh, it's been a lot of work, but it was worth it. And that's what I get with the 9 of Pentacles. There's that feeling of, I've come through it. It was, sorry, 9 of Wands. I've come through it. It was worth all the, you know, effort and everything else. So 9 of Wands is about strength, really, and about prudence. And it says you come a long way, and it may be even that you're recovering from illness or something like that, and you've come through it. You've come through a bit of a dark night of the soul, and that's what it feels like. So it feels like, it just always feels to me like I feel a bit bruised, but I'm okay. I've done it. I've survived. So that's what it feels like. And then we have this overall card, which is interesting, of the 9 of Swords. And again, it's another 9. Swords are about the mental side. They're about the thought, the mental, the trust, the logic. And they can be about anxiety as well. This card can be about anxiety as well. So although 9s typically are about progression and moving forward, and I know some psychics say don't look at the pictures, but for me, you know, the pictures are relevant as well. You get a lot of information. There is this kind of maybe some fear there, but because those 3 are quite positive cards before it, then we can look at it in a different way. We can look at that as being reversed. And I don't do reverse cards when I do the tarot. I look at the cards around it. And for me, it's much more likely that there is light at the end of the tunnel there. So whatever you've been working diligently through here, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And it's the end, because it very much ties in with the 9 of Wands. It's the end of a rough time. It's the end of the dark night of the soul. You know, it's the end of taking that risk and putting in all that effort and coming out feeling bruised. It's the end of that. It's good. It all feels very positive there. And when we look at the Lenormand pack, that's so interesting as well, because we're getting more information here. The 9 in the Lenormand pack, that's a gift. We're looking at that bunch of flowers. It's a gift there. It's recovery. It's well-being. So it's a very positive card that comes with it. So there is this fragrant smell, as it refers to in the book, of joy and happiness with it. And the bouquet of pink tulips in the Victorian era was all about showing appreciation as well. So it can be the code of lovers as well. So if it is connected to a lover that you're looking at the moment, then it's a really good sign. I think a really good sign. But then you're looking at the 10 there, which is a scythe. And the scythe, for me, it's always about harvesting, because it's a simple agricultural tool and it clears away stuff. You know, you're harvesting the wheat and the grass and all of that sort of thing. And it can mean a sudden shock or a sudden trauma, something sharp, something swift there. So we just have to be looking at where the tip of that is facing, and it's facing the Tower 19. 19 is the Tower, and the Tower can be a sense of isolation. It can be a sense of feeling lonely, or it can even be a government institution there. So it's saying it can also be the harvest as well, the 10, but because it's facing the Tower, I would say that there is something sudden and unexpected, I would say, that is coming in Now, the tower isn't all bad or anything, because it tends to represent corporations and organisations, government bodies, that kind of thing, institutions. And it can also be about expectations as well and ambitions. So it can also offer protection and security as well. And, you know, if you look at the tower, it's on high ground for surveillance. So we're kind of, we're looking out, we're keeping a lookout. There's a way of keeping control of everything that's going on around it. So there's a lot of meanings with the tower. It tends to be a seat of power as well. So we're looking at, it's almost as if something's coming in connected to something there that's power related, but it feels like there's an official document that's coming in as well with it. And we have this overall card of number 27 here, which is a formal communication. It's a letter, it's a, you know, slow mail. It's a document, it's information, it's a package. So it feels as if something's going to come out of the blue, something official is going to come out of the blue there. Doesn't mean to say it's negative or anything like that. It just feels official, swift, quick, something out of the blue there. And it could even be, it could be a speeding ticket, you know, it could be something as simple as that. I pulled similar cards earlier on in the month for myself, and I actually did get a speeding ticket. So it could be something as similar as that, comes out of the blue there. So we always look at what else is showing. That's why I always pull a few cards out there. So so there is something going on in that respect. But overall, the cards look fairly positive, I think, for June. This is really about truth, communication, yeah, or even just an acknowledgement of some kind. Right, the overall card in terms of, I'm using the liquid crystal cards, and this is, can you see this? It's hemimorphite, the egoless state. So let's just see the brief description of what that means for you as an overall card. I have to get the book out for this. Hemimorphite, let's have a look. Don't think I've seen this one before. So hemimorphite, if hemimorphite has come to you today, it is a friendly reminder that we are all responsible for our actions. Take a good look at what is happening in life and make sure that you are retaining your personal power and acting from an egoless state. All truthful acts should harm none, benefit all, and stream directly from love in the name of unity. Hemimorphite can also present when there is a need to embrace an important role from another lifetime, or when a loved one has recently passed and wishes to communicate with you. So make sure that you are not being taken advantage of, and this stone can appear to let you know that you need to recover a part of yourself from someone else's creation. And the affirmation that goes with it is, I walk the path of truth to freedom. That's lovely. I walk the path of truth to freedom. So that is number one, and let's go on to row number 2. Right, okay, so row 2, interesting, some similarities. Well, one similarity, which is that one to row 1. So we got the Fool once again for the month for June. So that Fool again, if you didn't watch row 1, the Fool represents that self-belief, a new journey, stepping into the unknown, but in an almost innocent way. You know, he's trusting, he's having faith, he's on a new pathway there. So it's like throwing the rule book out of the window and taking a fresh look about things, you know, when the Fool comes up. He can be quite a nervous character and undisciplined in terms of his mental energy. Well, he or she, the Fool is male or female, and can have a very unconventional sex life as well. I'm mentioning that because of this little fella that's come up in the next row. So we might have more sexual stuff, I think, going on here, more love stuff as well coming in on row 2. So it's really, when we've got the Fool, we're talking about letting go, taking a risk. Don't worry what other people think. You're protected you know, by your own sort of naivety almost. So sometimes it could be very naive, and sometimes it's a nice quality to have that sort of innocence there. So very much, you know, in tune with yourself, very much starting a new journey, an exciting journey, which is yeah, starting afresh somewhere. And then we move on to the Queen of Wands, which is following it. And the Queen of Wands, she's has a magnetic personality. She's very much about rural success. The Queen of Wands, she's a fire sign. Wands are all about the spirit, the impulse, the excitement, the essence of who we are. And does she represent Leo? I can't remember if she represents a Leo woman or not, but she's very much about success. She's very much about the rural side of things, the country side of things. And she's an attractive person. She's like a feminine leader. So like a Leo, she's a fire sign there. She's optimistic. She's self-assured. She's devoted to a task, and she's very charismatic. So she knows where she's going. So following that, so we have this sort of naivety and innocence with the Fool, and then we've got someone who knows what they're doing, where they're going. So the two combined is lovely. For me, it's a lovely combination, I think, because she's someone that I know where I'm going, and I know what it's going to take to get there, and I'm going to do it. There's a tenacity about her. Hopefully that light isn't distracting you too much there. And then it's followed by the Three of Cups, lovely card. Creativity, imagination, celebration there. Look at the harvest in the card there. There's a sense of abundance that comes with the Three of Cups. With that, there's the sense of again getting together with people, but celebrating something. It feels like a celebration. And of course, threes, as we know, is all about creative growth again. So although it's a cup, it's related to cups being emotional, heart, romance, that kind of thing. But we have this really positive feeling of celebration and renewal about it. So it's a light-hearted, joyful, expansive card when we got the Three of Cups there. So those three combined, that's feels like a really wonderful month for you ahead if you've picked row 2. And the overall card is the Two of Wands, and the Two of Wands is such an interesting card as well with that, because the Two of Wands is really about power and partnership and balance there. So it sort of indicates a successful partnership there when we pull out the Two of Wands. Wands again being the spirit, impulsive, and everything else. And it can also represent a powerful businessman or a powerful businesswoman, the Two of Wands, when it comes out. So it all feels very successful there with the Two of Wands. Because all the other cards are very positive there, it just feels like this is in its positive aspect, because I don't do reverse cards. So it has a very productive month feeling about this month. You know, we're out of, at the beginning of the month, we come out of the main Mercury retrograde, don't we? And although we're still in the shadow period, it feels like things are moving forward and in the right direction for you. Yes, it all feels great. And if there's any negotiations that you're doing, maybe you're buying something or selling something, it all feels like it's all going to fall into place there. So it feels really positive. And let's look at the Lenormand. Again, fantastic cards here. So we've got the sense of enchantment, I think, when the inner child comes out. And maybe it's relating directly to someone young that's in your life, perhaps, you know, a child or a nephew or a niece or whatever. But with it is the energy, a bit like the Fool, is the energy of play. There's an immaturity with it, but there's a naivety with it. It's young, it's new. Like the Fool, it's got the same sort of feeling with it for me. It's young at heart, and it's this sense of wonderment. So it's less businesslike than maybe these were, but there's a sense of joy and wonderment and fun and play with it. It's about imagination that is being allowed to kind of run riot, if you like, and create this wonderful creative energy as this child creates this fairy tale castle there. And it's followed beautifully by the clover, and the clover is so full of luck. it's happiness and luck, and it makes things better. So whatever card is either side of the clover, it goes up a notch, and we just feel this real sense of joy and happiness and luck, and everything's going in the right direction with this 4-leaf clover there. It's a wonderful card. So not only is it lifting that happiness up even more, but look at what's on the other side of it. We've got this really masculine Mars male, which sometimes can be that Mars energy, that anger energy, but this, it feels in its positive aspect, this strong masculine energy when we got the man coming in, number 28. This is in the extended Lenormand pack. There's 2 men in the extended pack, and this can be relating directly to a man. This whole cards can be all about relationship here, and it feels very, very positive. It's really very much about a strong man that's in his masculine energy, I would say. So he's not a wishy-washy man. He knows what he wants. He's claiming his masculine energy, stepping fully into it. And because it's following the clover, he's in his positive aspect there. So it's got this lovely energy. If there isn't a man around you, or you're not interested in a man around you, then it could be just that strong masculine energy that Mars represents in some ways, a very positive aspect of that Mars power for you, so that it can bring that sense of that very masculine, that determination, the passion, essential power. So it might just represent power, the sense of power, like that leadership, strong leadership with the Queen of Wands. We've got this real sense of power going on here as well. So it's wonderful, but it's in its positive aspect here. And look at the card. The overall card is the 24, which is the heart, my favorite card in the pack. 24, the 2 swans together forming happiness and love. It's about your feelings, it's about your emotions, it's that partnership again. With that, this is why it has this sense of love about road 2. It's affectionate, it's love, it's relationship. So even if it's all about business for you, it's a positive aspect of your business. So it's a wonderful relationship there. So the fact that the clover is in this as well is just, well, maybe there's going to be commitment, marriage side of things going on. So whatever it is that you're thinking of, if it's a romantic relationship and you want commitment, it's there. It's what it feels like. I mean, normally the ring would come up for commitment, but I think we've got the clover there, and we've got the heart there, and we've got the strong male there. So yeah, you make up your mind, whatever feels right to you in your lifetime. And then we have the overall card, again, the crystal card of creativity, which is carnelian. So let me get the book out for that again. Carnelian, this is all about creativity, it's said again. We've got so much creativity going on in this spread. Here, where is it? Creativity, carnelian. I should be more prepared when I do these. Just flicking through the book. Right, carnelian. So carnelian is, the presence of carnelian today is a healing and empowering step back into life. I mean, look at the power here, and we're going in this new direction, and we're feeling strong leadership, and we've got this partnership, we've got the clover. It's just all falling into place there. So as she makes her way into your world, it is through the sun is shining. It is as though the sun is shining within you. Shadows, sorrows, self-destructive attitudes and doubts are washed clean, leaving a clean slate to rebuild and create your world. The rules are simple. Be free. Be creative, and most importantly, be you. Set goals and draw a path of joy upon which you will confidently walk to your individual purpose. Carnelian can and will, if you allow her, guide you back to the creative individual fires that burn in your heart. Do something new, something forgotten, and something feared in the coming weeks, and rediscover the common thread, your individual spark and trust in self. Carnelian can also represent a new relationship or a breath of life into an established one. Now is the time to act. So this is what I said. It has this feeling of a loving relationship here, if you picked that. By the way, this is the, it comes from here, the liquid crystal oracle there. So just put that back and we'll go on to row 3. Okay, here we go. This is row 3. And interesting how these two for me match up, the 7 and the 18. They're the different packs. The 7 of Swords, I mean, typically 7s are about experience, training, learning, confidence, that kind of thing. They can be about theft as well. 7 to me is about theft. And it's sort of what goes up must come down. It's sort of in the middle, I think, 7s for me. So the 7 of Swords can be a very superficial card if it's in this negative aspect, but it's about caution. For me, it's always about trust or theft or keeping your own counsel. You know, that's what it really means to me. It's a sort of restless card. It can, you know, on a positive side, it could be new ideas, fresh mental input, because it's Swords are about thought, the mental side, the trust, the logic, you know. And it can be general movement and change, but for me it means sort of keeping your own counsel. If you have any fresh ideas, keep them to yourself. I think, so that nobody pinches them. That would be my take on the 7. Some people might disagree, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But it can also be about not sustaining the energy, and that would ring true when you look at the 4 of Swords that follows it, because you know, if we're occupying the aspects of the 7 of Swords, then we might be feeling trapped or be afraid of being trapped. We might feel bored, you know, can't sustain our energy. And then we've got this sort of timeout card of the 4 of Swords. And again, we're still in the swords, we're still in the mental side, you know, that sort of, I mean, 4s can mean, you know, stability and safe and everything else, but it can also be stagnation. So I feel with these 2 cards together that it's much more about stagnation here. I'm bored, I'm restless, I'm wasting my energy on something. I'm maybe focusing in the wrong area, although that would probably be the 5 of Cups to me potentially. But certainly in terms of the mental side, I feel like I'm draining my energy. I'm focusing on the wrong thing is what's coming into my mind. You know, it's a restless mind. Yeah, I mean, it's the Swords are the air signs. So it can be theft, you know, it can be theft of ideas or theft of money or something along those lines. So it is really just being extra cautious with your energy, I think. Extra cautious with any ideas that you've got for these 2. Just you don't need to, if you've got an idea, keep it to yourself just for a little while longer, until you get everything sort of I's dotted and T's crossed, if that makes sense to you. You don't want a pet project to be taken away from you too soon, you know, if it's your baby and you're nurturing it. So keep your counsel, keep things close to you at the moment, because you know what it's like. The moment you start telling people about some things, everybody has an opinion, and I would say keep your own counsel this month. You don't want other people's opinions getting in the way, because it's a pain, isn't it, when that happens. But then we're followed by the World card, which is lovely. I mean, the World card is about completion and fulfillment and freedom. It is that all of the elements coming together when we have the World card. So we have this reward for all the effort that you've put in, you know, and it can also mean that there's travel as well, quite literally. So travel of the mind, or travel in the real sense. And it is about accomplishment when we've got the World card, and maybe you discover a solution to something there. So it's a lovely card. It's a harmony. It's got such a lot of harmony. It's balance. It's fulfillment. There, a peaceful card. But equally, you know, if it was in its reverse, because these 2 are representing, you know, we're looking at sort of caution and time out here. Could be that maybe there's too much wishful thinking going on, and you may need to ask yourself, you know, Is this the right course of action? Is it just wishful thinking? Is there something that I need to look at? You know, is this my true potential? Am I going in the right direction? So it augurs caution of of being a little bit more objective of your goals there. So yes, but then we've got the overall card of the Two of Wands again, which is what came up in the last one for row two. I think was it row two or row one? I can't remember, but one of those had that as well. So it is about balanced enterprise, balanced power. Again, it's a fiery card, so we've moved away from the swords here. We've got that Wands, the spirit, the excitement, the essence, the impulsiveness. Then twos are about decisions and choices and duality, but also that sense of partnership as well. It can mean, I mean, if you're taking it with just these two, it could be that there's some partnership problems going on here, business or otherwise. Although we have that lovely world card there, but it can also mean, especially it's, you know, it's above the moon card there, I would say it's in its positive aspect probably, and it's a powerful card, a powerful business person. Yes, can be connected with property as well there, so deals working out in your favor if you're buying or selling there. So and then looking at the Lenormand there with this as well, we've got this lovely card of the dog, which is, it's about loyalty, it's about trust, it's about having faith as well. Something a lot of people lack, I think, in recent times, is having faith that it's all going to work out. There's a sense of loyalty and friendship with the dog. It's protection, it's trust, it's support, it's reliance. It kind of ties in with this one again of that caution, but it also knowing who to trust as well. So it's a reliable, faithful friend with the dog, and it's unconditional, it's self-contained, and it's holding its own lead. So there's this sense of contentment, but also this sense of independence here as well. But there's this sense of companionship. So if you're looking at in terms of a relationship, all of this, then it's a lovely card to have, and especially followed by the storks here, which I'll come to in a moment. Yeah, so this just sense of trustworthiness and having faith there. Now, moving on to the storks, there we're talking about upgrades, we're talking about improvements, we're talking about change. It's a change of seasons. They're building the nest. It could be a move, it could be a new promotion that's coming up. There is a very favored creature, the stork, and it's making a nest for its springtime. So it's associated with birth, as we all know, the stork carrying the child, birth and delivery. So if you're waiting to get pregnant, this is a great sign to have. If you're waiting to give birth, this is a great sign to have. Again, but it can be birthing ideas, of course, with it. So so there's this feeling of evolution going on with this card, things moving and evolving and changing, which is great. So, and then we've got 39, which is a very playful card, but it can also be about taking a risk. So when we've got the dice, it can be about play, it can be about taking a risk, it can be about taking a gamble on something. It is taking that leap of faith, literally, there, because it's talking about change. It's talking about change again. So there's a lot of change going on again in June, and it really feels like things moving forward again. So there's this element of chance, opportunities coming in, I think, there, so, but in a much more random way than, you know, that sort of random luck there. It can be, you know, if you think about gambling at a table, you know, you can either have that random luck or random loss. So there's a gamble going on. There's a chance that you're going to take, I think, here with that. So think about that gambling table of throwing the dice. and it can influence obviously those cards around it. So there's this element of randomness with it as well, and yeah, it almost feels, if I look at all of this, it almost feels as if there's this, doesn't have the same stability as row 2 had this month. There's a lot more going on. There's some things coming out of the blue, it feels, in row 3. And if you look at the overall card of the moon, which is card number 32, which I love this card, it's the moon. The moon can be a very romantic card. As well, it can be about love, romance, intuition, psychic abilities there, but it can also be, the moon can also be about shining light on areas of the shadow, of course, casting shadows, maybe even connected to the cycles of the moon this month as well, in June. It's a much more watery card, and yeah, it's about self-reflection, I think, more than anything else, as I look at it. So I think there's a lot of self-reflection going on in here. There's a lot of ups and downs, I would say. There's some chances being taken, but keep some things to yourself. Know who to trust, when to trust, that kind of thing here, because the dice can be off-putting for the dog as well, because the first thing the dog will do is drop the lead and go and play with the dice as well, if you're throwing the dice. So that, you know, this, it swings and roundabouts, I think, going on for row 3 this month. And then if we look at the card, which is Breathe, Botswana Agate, Botswana Agate. Can't pronounce it. Let's have a look at that. It says Breathe, which actually sort of feels like it ties in very strongly. Here it is, right? Again, I should have opened the book in advance. Let's have a look. So the presence of Botswana Agate for you today, tells us that the time for a breath of fresh air is here. Hurrah! The time to become the shepherd of self, not one of the sheep. You are at the start of an important journey, a bridge to freedom and a new you. Look deeply into self for the truth about your earthly ways, and be ready to seek another direction without judgment. It is time to allow a problem that has taken up all of your time to find its solution. Doors are opening that have been closed for too long, and be sure to walk through them. So that really does tie up everything that's come up, I think. Yeah, I think it ties up everything that's come up for rows 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, for row 3 there. So wonderful, yes. And I'm just going to do a final Rumi card for row 1, 2, and 3. I hope you can see these cards. So this is row 1 is card 33. And again, it's come from Rumi, Alana Fairchild's cards. These cards, I tell you, are fantastically accurate, as are the crystal cards. I mean, I just love them. They always seem to be bang on. So card 33, and again, I'm not going to read you the whole lot, just the most pertinent stuff. So card 33, you who show the way. This is for row 1, if you chose row 1. This oracle brings the message that if you have a situation in your midst that feels impossible to resolve, the divine has it covered. Wonderful. Do the sacred honouring ritual that's in the book, and let it be sorted out by a power greater than your own. It shall be sorted out, and your sun shall rise. Just as day follows night again and again, so too shall your sun rise after any issue or struggle. Have faith and hope, and know that this is a sensible approach to any dilemma, no matter how serious it may seem. For what use is it to bemoan the absence of day, even on the longest night, when you know in every moment dawn is ever closer to breaking once again? Your hope then is not foolish, but wise. And for row 2, it's card 42, Dance of the Divine Feminine. Love that. So, Dance of the Divine Feminine. Again, I'm just going to go straight to the guidance. This oracle comes to you with guidance. Your life may feel as though it is being tipped upside down. Perhaps you feel as though the great beloved in a feisty mood has grabbed your ankles and is holding you upside down and shaking you wildly until your skirt is over your head. Or the pockets of your pants become freed of their contents, keys and wallet dropping to the floor in disarray. Your hair is messy, your bottom is in the air, and your sense of orientation is nowhere to be found. Sounds like a normal day to me. Blood is rushing to your head, and goodness knows you just want to be put down to have a moment to come to your senses. So the beloved will give you that gift, but don't imagine it will last for too long. The great beloved esteems you capable of so much more than being sure-footed and sensible. You are capable of more whirling and stumbling whilst inspired by the music of the spheres. Just accept the great invitation to dance. Just accept it. So just go with the flow. So it also brings another message that there is something you are holding on to, perhaps a person, a place, a thing, a belief, a vision, and you need to let it go because it wants to grow. Surrender it to the divine, I would say. It may grow and change into something utterly different, or it may grow into exactly what you are imagining. Whichever outcome, growth is happening, and you'll find you enjoy the way much more with greater flow and support and less bashing of your head against the proverbial brick wall, if you can let it happen. So again, it's like all these things. Surrender it to the divine, surrender it, and just dance like nobody is watching. That's my philosophy for most things, I think. And card 18 in the Rumi pack for row 3. Which is a new gown. Oh, I like that. Get you, eh? So this oracle comes to you with sacred portent. You are fast approaching a moment of a great leap, an evolutionary shift on your spiritual path. Hallelujah. Your sense of yourself and your divine identity is about to be revealed and realized in a way more potent than ever before. This is wonderful. It is a divine happening. You must allow it. God's sake, row 3s, allow it. Do not confuse humility with humiliation. Do not humble yourself excessively. You do not have to battle with false pride either. Simply honor yourself as a living being, worthy of life, worthy of this royal path of divine realization. What a gift it is to cast aside belief in inferiority or superiority, unhelpful as those notions are for you now. What a gift instead to embrace your own path, irrespective of what any other may think, whether they hold it in glory or derision. Who cares? Not you, nor I. Your royal heritage has been revealed, and in seeing the divinity within yourself, you become blessed to see it in all beings returning to the realization of royalty within. Yay! And it also comes with sacred guidance for you. You are stepping into empowerment now in a new way, and it is to be honored. Do not allow yourself to be dragged into dramas or power games. You are worth so much more than that, and you are tapping into your inner dignity, and others may not know how to respond. Some will respond with love and acknowledgement, and others with fear and judgment, calling you too big for your boots, or, high and mighty. Those are voices of fear, not truth. Be in your dignity and power, and keep going. It is the divine that urges you, thus not the ego. Do not doubt the change is happening within you now. Embrace them. And on that note, I'll leave you to June. Have the most wonderful June, whether you pick 1, 2, or 3. Whatever the cards mean to you, go with what resonates. I can only give examples. This is, it's too broad. When you're doing it for anyone that wants to watch, you go with what resonates with you. You are the one that is empowered. This is your life, your consciousness. Enjoy it in every way. So much love to you all, and see you on the SRT clearings.